All right, let's now answer this question here, and we're going to do so by inspection. So let's just write by inspection up the top. By inspection. All right, let's read it. It says, the activity network below shows the activities and their completion times in hours needed to complete a project. So here it is right here. It says the project is to be crashed by reducing the completion time of one activity only. This will reduce the completion time of the project by a maximum of what? All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to try to reduce this by reducing one of the activity times. What we're going to begin by doing is figuring out the critical path. So to figure out the critical path here, I'm going to say, all right, we're starting at time 0, and then we're going to scan forward with our green. So this will become 5, this will be 1, this will be 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 is my bigger number there. Whoops, what's happening there? 5 is my bigger number there. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 plus 7 is 14. 14 plus 4 is 18. 5 plus 12 is 17. 3 plus 4 is 12. Sorry, 11. Sorry, what am I doing? 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. 18 is my bigger number. 18 plus 1 is going to be 19. So that means my earliest completion time here is going to be 19. Let's do that in blue. Then I grab my red pen and I scan backwards. So I'm going to go 19 minus 1 is 18. 18 minus 8 is 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 18 minus 12 is 6. 6. 18 minus 4 is 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. 7 minus 2 is going to be 5. 5 is my smaller number. 5 minus 0 is 5. 5 is my smaller number. What? Oh, sorry. What is happening there? I'm accidentally hitting the space bar. There we go. That's going to be 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. Then over here, I'm doing 5 minus 1 is 4. Okay. Now we can identify our critical path here. It's going to be 0, 0, 5, 5, 7, 7, 14, 14, 18, 18, 19, 19, just like that. So that is our critical path right there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to ask ourselves the following question. We're going to say, all right, what should I reduce to make this a minimum completion time? Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm really going to focus on a part where I have multiple edges coming to one vertex. So for instance, right here, do you see how I have 2 edges coming to a vertex? And over here as well, I have 1, 2, 3 edges coming to a vertex right there. So those are the places that you really want to consider. All right, so let's have a look here for a moment and say, all right, should I reduce activity B? And what happens if I was to reduce activity B? Let's say I was to reduce it by 1 hour, so now it takes 4 hours to complete. Well, that now means that this is 4, and this also will be 4. So I've saved myself an hour here. So it takes now only 4 hours for this to be completed. And I'm only waiting 1 hour here, so that's fine. So I've just saved myself an hour. So instead of 19, it would become 18. So why not reduce it by more? Why not, take it all off? Why not now say B takes no time to complete? Now, why isn't that the smartest thing to do? Because if I was to do that, do you see how I still have to wait 1 hour for A to be completed? So meaning, even though I hit here at 0, I'm still waiting 1 hour there. So that's why that way isn't as good as just making it 1, right? I should just make it 1, because now I'm going to hit this vertex 1 hour by going through B in the dummy and 1 hour going through A. So by doing this, I've just saved myself 4 hours, meaning instead of 19, it is now going to be 15, because I just took off 4 hours there. And you can see this by, plussing on our times here. So it would be 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 7 is 10, 10 plus 4 is 14, 14 plus 1 is 15. So that's how we got that 15 right there. But then you might ask yourself, all right, is there a better place? Is there more bang for your buck if you go somewhere else? So this is where you've got to consider other places now and say, all right, is there somewhere better that I could reduce something? Now, the other place that we said we wanted to consider was right here and see if this is going to have a good impact as well. So let's just forget about this reduction here for a moment. Let's forget about this. And let's now just focus on this portion right here. Now, hopefully you can recognize that this isn't going to have a big of an impact as reducing something down here. Because do you see here, the difference in my earlier starting times going through B or going from A is a difference of 4. So that means, I had 4 hours that I could save there. But over here, do you see how it's 18, 17, and 16? So it's 1 difference and 2 difference from the biggest numbers there. That means it's going to have less of an impact over here. And let's see that in action. So let me grab another color pen out. Let's just say I reduced this activity E by 7. So it comes now 0. Well, if that's now the case, and I've taken 7 hours off it, this now is going to become 11 because I've taken 7 hours off. But do you see how you might be thinking, whoa, I just took 7 hours off. That's fantastic. But you haven't saved that much time because now, this is no longer going to be, you're still waiting on 16 and 17, aren't you? So this time you'd now be waiting on 17 to be done. So you haven't really saved 7 hours, have you? What you've really saved is an hour because the difference between 18 and 17 is 1 hour. And that's going to be true for all of these things. That if you can only reduce one activity, doing so in this area right here is not going to have as big of an impact as this area over here, because we could say 4 hours here because the difference between our earlier start times is 5 and 1, when the difference between our earlier start times here is only, 1 and 2. So that means this will reduce the completion time by what? Well, I would say right here as my answer, reduce activity B. How do you spell activity? Activity B by 4 hours. So now by reducing it by 4 hours, it becomes a 1 hour right there. Reduce activity B by 4 hours. And that's it. That's how you do it. A little bit tricky doing it by inspection, but hopefully you can kind of get the feel for what we're doing. And again, practice makes perfect. Make sure you just keep practicing this skill.